That gives you kind of an overview of what the charter city discussion was about. Item 2 is shall the city council consider the idea of going to district elections in regard to council seats? One of the reasons you go to district elections is diversity among the council. And many cities throughout the state have gone to district elections for that reason. In fact, many cities have been required by law to do it. They've been forced to by litigation that's been filed to go that direction. Another thing that has to do with this population, as your population grows, you want to make sure that your city council members fairly represent the community in all north, east, west, south, that type of geographic, demographic in every way. And then, of course, the question becomes what happens with the pool of candidates. One of the concerns that we talked about was the fact that in the city of Centro at its present size, it could actually be a difficulty in attracting qualified candidates if you went to, could increase the difficulty in that. If you went to district elections, you would have a district which would really represent, say, 8,000 people. And if that particular district didn't have anybody to run, what would you do with it? If you follow the number of council, look at the number of council elections over the last number of years, there hasn't been a huge number of council candidates in each. There was one, which was 2003, when there were 3 open seats on the council. And in most elections, there's 2 or 3 seats, obviously, and there's 3 to 5 people running for the council seats. The item 3 that we were tasked to consider was, shall the city council consider moving the council elections from odd years to even years? And the orifice behind this question really comes down to community and people involvement, citizen involvement. The typical, if you follow the election cycle in El Centro over the last 4, 5, 6 election cycles, you will find that in the years in which the council runs, which is the odd number of years, the voter turnout typically is in the 14 to 22% range. If you follow the even number elections, year elections, where there is always either a governor on the ballot and or a president on the ballot, what you'll find is that the turnout is anywhere from 37 to whatever this number was, which may be 70%, but typically it'd be 37 to say 50%. So the idea with that really comes down to a real simple question of, do you want to double the turnout in city council elections, which obviously gets you more community, more people out to the polls. As we said, increased voter turnout. One of the things that we found in discussing this, and we thank our city attorney for his work on this, was the fact that it will be an increase in cost of the election. It's estimated it will be about $35,000 to $40,000 more. We're not actually quite sure. That's what we were told by the county. We haven't really got an explanation as to why the cost would increase that significantly, but that's what we're told, so we're using that as the high point of the number if that was to happen. And then item 4 was, shall the city council consider an alternative to its present rotation system for the position of mayor? Under the mayor rotation, the pros are that city history. It's been a system that we've had in place for since 100 years. It works well currently, allows the opportunity for the mayor to change every member of the council to be mayor, and of course it's a constant change in leadership which allows new ideas to come forth. Mayor rotation, the cons, consistently lacking in leadership. You don't have a consistency in leadership because it changes every year. It can have a lack of concern in regard to the strategic direction because you're changing the mayor on an annual basis. The rotation does not equal effectiveness and lack of involvement and understanding. These were the issues that were raised by the committee. We looked at 3 different issues. This is the second of the issue. which is a mayor selected by a council as opposed to an automatic rotation. And this is being done in many cities throughout California, have not gone to an election of the mayor, but they've gone to a selection of a mayor. And usually what we're seeing in Ventura, in many of the cities, is 2-year terms as mayor. But it is selected by the council. This provides a little more consistent leadership, a little more increased planning. Your idea behind that is the council is going to select the best person suited to be the mayor, and it helps complete your strategic initiatives. Cons: all council members will not get to serve as mayor. Does not necessarily provide the best mayor candidate. Political maneuvering can take place as you try to battle who's going to get the 2-year mayor position. And an ineffective mayor would only serve for 1 year opposed to 2. So if you had a mayor that wasn't doing a very good job under the current system, you're going to rotate into another mayor within 12 months. If you go to this system, you're going to likely end up having that mayor for 24 months. An elected mayor, these are the pros. The mayor elected directly by the citizens. The mayor would serve for 4 years. They would have a plan to carry through and increase credibility both from a local level, a state, and a federal level. This would require, the cons against this would require a vote to change the system. If you went to an elected mayor, this would require it to go out to a vote of the people to make that determination. It's not something the council would make the determination to place it on the ballot only. Ineffective mayor would serve 4 years. That goes back to one of the pros and cons. If you elect a mayor who's not suited to be the mayor, he's an elected mayor directly by the people, he's going to serve in that role for 4 years. It could alter the procedures and relationship with the council members. We have a rotation basis that has worked pretty well. Automatically, people rotate around. If you go to an elected mayor, there's going to be a change in the relationship because those 4 council members are going to be council members for that entire 4 years, and that person is going to be the mayor for that length of time. Friction with the relations with the city manager. When this was discussed, there was no discussion, no concept to change to what you've heard maybe out of San Diego or some of the other cities, a strong mayor system. The idea would not change that. It would be very similar to what many cities have across California, which is an elected mayor and they still use the city manager system. But it would be a change in that relationship as you're going to have a mayor that has that responsibility for 4 years working with the city manager. So that is a potential area of conflict. Currently we have a 1-year rotation. That's the current system. The alternative would be a 2-year rotation or selection by the council. And then the third choice is 4 years, which would be an elected position by the council. I think before we go on, well, you want to do the recommendations for the task force and then come back for questions, or you want to do the questions first?
Well, I have one quick question. So what about votes of no confidence? Is that a term that's applicable to this? That the mayor is getting to the point that the city council feels they can no longer trust the leadership of the city to the mayor?
That would take a recall.
Okay, recall.
I suppose votes of no confidence would have no authority.
Okay.
The council could say, yeah, we're going to pass a resolution with support of no confidence in the mayor, but since he's directly elected by the public, it would have no balance. Now, that would be up to they could follow that, which would be the procedure that we've seen, unfortunately, sometimes throughout California, which is a recall of that person.
Then do you know, Mr. Edney, what are the terms for recall? Like what would be required for a recall?
Well, I don't have the exact terms. It would be typical. You would have to get a petition signed by, I would imagine, 20%, 25% of the public, 10% of the public to place it on the ballot.
Okay.
There is legal precedent, already established for that. And if you went to that direction, you would write that into the city ordinances. Okay, let's go on to the recommendations and then we'll ask for questions. Okay, on the charter city, the task force unanimously recommended to submit to the city council the idea of going forward as a charter city. The task force feels that becoming a charter city would benefit the citizens of El Centro, more local control, stretch local revenues,